Welcome back to Homa Studio, Python for Beginners series, and we're going to add the input function to our previous exercise where we used the future age, future year, and the input's going to allow us to use someone other than Steve. You could put in your own name, your own age, and your own year by using this built-in function. And we're just going to use the future age file, and we'll modify it a little bit just to kind of demonstrate that. So I'm going to take this file and save it again, and just give it a new name and just put input after it. And what we're going to do here, instead of having a file where we just ran it and we said, okay, the guy's name is Steve, his age is 51, and the year is 2019, and it did that, and it showed the year that it would be when Steve turned 60. And in order to change the future age, we would just go here into the variable and change that. So what we'll do is we'll take input so that people can enter anything they want. They can enter their own name, their own age, and the current year so that we don't have to go back and change these, as well as this. So I'm going to put this up here kind of with this, and what we'll do is we'll make inputs. Now inputs are pretty easy. We're still going to use a variable, but what we're going to do is run an input function here. So we're just going to say input, and in parentheses we're going to ask a particular question so that they can input. You don't have to. You just see a blank screen with a cursor and then you won't know what to do. So we're going to say input, and we're just going to say enter your name, and we'll put a colon, and then we'll put that in quotes because we want this as a string in here. And normally I'll put a space after the colon just so the cursor is kind of after that. And then we could do the same thing here. I'll just copy input and say enter your current age and the current year. We're going to do that as well. And for future age, we'll put another one here. We'll just say enter a future age. Now this only goes into the future. We can't go in the past, so we would have to alter this a little bit. But right now we'll say enter a future age. Now we're using the same variables here, so this shouldn't change a whole lot as far as what we do. So let's just try it out and see what we get so far. We'll probably get errors, and I'll explain why, but at least we can start it off. Now what we're going to get down here is a prompt. It'll say enter your name. So I could click here and I'll just put Rich for now. And current age I'll put 51. And current year 2019. And future age I'll put 75. And then we get an error. Now the reason we're getting an error here is because you see this? This is math. And you see these things up here? These things are taking strings. So they take strings in here. You could even see this. You see those STRs? Inputs naturally accept strings. So if you put in numbers, it's going to convert them to a string. And then you can't do math with it. So all that you have to do for any of these where we're actually doing math with age, year, and future age, what we could just do is around here, we could just say int, convert the whole variable to an int after we get the prompt. Just like this. We'll just say int and just wrap parentheses around. Now, note that you'll have double parentheses at the end because you have parentheses inside of parentheses. So just be careful that you don't have an odd number of parentheses. Now the first one, this can be a string, so that's fine. But these have to be integers because we're working with math here. So let's see what happens. Let me kill it and do a new terminal, and let's try it again. And it says enter your name, and I'll do someone else. And we'll see when my son, what year it'll be when he's 75. And he'll be 75 in the year 2075. Wow. There'll be flying cars and all kinds of things. Or the world will be ended. Anyway, this works. So that makes it a little more interesting that you could put anything you want in here and then we're not stuck to certain variables. So that wasn't that hard. The only thing we had to do is we had to make sure that if we're using any math or taking any integers in here. Now, again, we're not worrying about floats just yet. These are kind of single numbers. We just have to convert these. We could have converted them after the fact, meaning you could do something like this. If you didn't want to do that, you know, if you found all those parentheses too confusing, you could have said current age. You could have reassigned the variable and just said int current age. And that does the same thing. that just converts the variable after the fact. So you get the variable from the prompt, and then you're converting into an integer. But the way we did it, and I'll just undo, it just does it all at once. So it's a little less lines of code to do that. So that's the input prompt. That's a built-in. The only thing you have to worry about is if you're doing math, you have to convert it to an integer. And we'll do more with input prompts because there's a lot of things we'll do with that. But I just wanted to build on our previous exercise just to show how the input prompt would make it a little more flexible and a little more interesting. Thanks for watching.